Tonight on UTVS News at 4:30, travelers on Interstate 94 in Monticello might notice something different on the highway. What MnDOT is testing.
Then, St. Cloud State University releases details on enrollment, how the numbers look compared to last year.
I felt like no one loved me. And I didn't like Valentine's Day. I wanted to ruin it for everyone.
But first, a jury decides the fate for the Parkland shooter.
UTVS News starts right now. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight on UTVS News. I'm Adam Larson.
And I'm Sandro Pascucci. Our top stories start now.
A jury in Florida reached a decision on the death penalty trial of the Parkland shooter. CBS reporter Chris Benavides has more from Miami.
We, the jury, unanimously find that the aggravating factors that were proven beyond a reasonable doubt outweigh the mitigating circumstances established. No.
A jury in Florida is recommending that Nicholas Cruz receive life in prison for killing 17 people at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School on Valentine's Day in 2018.
It was purposeful and it was a systematic massacre.
During the 3-month trial, jurors heard from both the prosecution, who argued for the death penalty, as well as the defense, who was hoping for life in prison. His lawyer called him a broken and abused person and asked for compassion.
Do we kill brain-damaged, mentally ill, broken people? Do we? I hope not.
The defendant pleaded guilty a year ago to killing 14 students and 3 staff members. Jurors heard a videotaped interview where he described his motive.
I felt like no one loved me. And I didn't like Valentine's Day. I wanted to ruin it for everyone.
The jury's decision needed to be unanimous in order to recommend the death penalty. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
A separate sentencing trial for the Parkland shooter has been scheduled for November 1st.
The Minnesota Department of Human Rights settled with the Anderson Corporation after they denied employment to a man with disability. Back in 2019, the Anderson Corporation took back a job offer from a man after they learned about his disability. They claimed the man was not able to safely operate a forklift, even though that was not essential for the job. This violates the Minnesota Human Rights Act. MDHR is now requiring the Anderson Corporation to be clear about job roles. Employees will also be required to participate in anti-discrimination training. MDHR will monitor the company for 3 more years.
Minnesota is running to be the host for the 2027 World Expo, officially known as International Registered Exhibitions. The World Expo is one of the biggest events on the planet Earth that gathers people from all around the world to discuss the major issues we have today with various themed activities. Governor Tim Walz says he is ready for it.
I am incredibly grateful. It couldn't be more relevant. The timing could not be better to bring this expo to Minnesota. We're ready for it. I know I'm a bit biased, but this is the place to show healthy people, healthy planet, and show what we can do together.
Minnesota is one of the 5 locations that are running to host the 2027 World Expo. The site Minnesota is planning to hold the event at is located near the Mall of America. Organizers are planning to visit that site this week. We now bring in Austin Finley from the UTVS Weather Center.
Austin, I hear there is a chance of snow in the forecast.
Absolutely there is, Sandro. Today we did see some cool temperatures come in for us, and as that rain starts to move out that we've seen the past couple days, we do have a chance for our first snowfall of the season for this year. We did see a high of 43 today, and we're going to see that low of 32 tonight. That is going to bring us some of those freezing temperatures and rain. As we can see up here, we are looking at that snow development up in northern Minnesota and into Canada there, and that is going to come down and meet us by tomorrow morning. And the NWS, the National Weather Service, has issued this expected snowfall rate for this snowfall that is coming down. And as we can see here, St. Cloud is sitting right on the border there with just 1/10 of an inch. So if you are excited about snow, I don't know how this is looking for you, just 1/10 of an inch, but I will have more on this later on.
Thank you, Austin. Minnesotans who are homeless and other protesters are camping outside the Minneapolis City Hall after the city cleared out the largest settlements of homeless areas. WCCO reporter Jennifer Mayorli went to the City Hall yesterday to see what has been happening.
People say things escalated.
Things were pretty tense initially.
After police gave orders to pack up and leave the encampment outside Minneapolis City Hall. Several protesters and unhoused people first moved here this weekend after several camps were cleared last week.
So we asked them, where should the people go?
She says then they got on the Metro Transit tracks.
We're not trying to cause problems. We're trying to get heard.
It's an emotional moment at that moment, and people are pushing, saying, where are we supposed to go? What do you want us to do?
Eventually, they say both sides started talking. Some resources were offered, and people moved to the other side of the transit tracks from City Hall to outside the Hennepin County Government Center.
Hours later, many are still out here. They say they're looking for resources and are trying to figure out what's next.
So now literally the city has pushed people from one strip of sidewalk to the other strip of sidewalk across the track.
Some say they feel stuck.
We're begging of these people to give us housing and resources.
Hennepin County handed out "You Are Welcome Here" flyers with some ground rules. Things like follow city ordinances and state laws, and visitors may not camp or sleep, use tents, tarps, tables, or use gas or other devices, to name a few. In Minneapolis, Jennifer Mayorli, WCCO 4 News.
Protesters and the homeless say that the evictions have caused them to have health issues, including stress and trauma, as they don't know where to go after getting evicted.
Following up with the protesting of pausing evictions that are happening in Minneapolis for the homeless population, members of the Minneapolis City Council respond that they are trying their best to help the homeless. They also say that they have invested over $200 million to improve staffing and shelter conditions for the homeless within the last couple of years. Now, with having a small budget, the City Council had offered shelter to those at the City Hall on Tuesday and will continue to do their best to help with what they can.
The St. Cloud Rocks baseball team is donating $21,000 in scholarships to college students.
And Minnesota police agencies are looking to recruit more diverse officers. We will tell you more after the break.
Polls for the November 8th elections will open on Friday, September 23rd. There are 2 locations that are open for citizens to vote at, including a new location, St. Cloud City Hall, along with the Stearns County Service Center in Waite Park. Both locations will be open from 8 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, and from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. on Saturday, November 5th. You can also apply for an absentee ballot online or by contacting to the auditor, treasurer's office, to have one mailed to you.
Is your ID real? If not, you still have time to verify it. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security has extended the Real ID enforcement deadline to May 3rd, 2023. Once this deadline passes, Minnesotans will not be able to use their standard ID to get on flights or enter federal buildings. They will need to use a Real ID, enhanced driver's license, or ID. Blaze orange is the new black? Firearm season for deer hunting starts this weekend, and the Minnesota DNR wants you all to have a safe and enjoyable time at deer camp this year. Make a plan that includes checking field conditions, registering your deer, and being aware of deer carcass movement restrictions. More information on deer hunting can be found on the DNR's website.
It might be the off-season, but our local baseball team is still making an impact off the field. The St. Cloud Rocks have been awarded the Community Program of the Year by the Northwoods League for their Project SAFE Foundation. The foundation is a nonprofit that aims to support youth programs in sports, arts, volunteerism, and education. This is the first time in league history an award like this has been given out, and it is voted on by all 22 Northwoods League teams.
The U.S. men's national team aren't the only ones making headlines at the World Cup. Frenchwoman Stephanie Frappart is making history today when she becomes the first woman to referee a men's World Cup match. Frappart is one of 6 female officials in Qatar and will take part of the all-female trio that will officiate the Group E match between Germany and Costa Rica.